Chapter 11 Fuki Yamagishi 10 May 2009
Are you sure about this, Yuki?
Mitsuru asked the blue-haired boy as she looked up from the control panel.
Yes.
Minato seriously nodded.
I'll talk it over with Hamuko later, but she'll probably be fine with the change. I'll take full responsibility as field leader of Seas.
The redhead stared at the boy curiously.
Might I ask what brought about this change? Last night, I froze up in the midst of battle,
Minato shamefully admitted, not looking at the senior.
If we had failed, the four of us would have died and the blame would have been on Hamuko. In actuality, it was because I was unable to take charge under the pretense I wasn't the leader. Those thoughts only added on top of my fears and made the situation worse, resulting in me becoming a burden to the team. Last month, when you addressed the entire student body, you had said that you wished for us to reevaluate our convictions. I admit I've never had much conviction in the past, but I realized something last night.
He clenched his fists.
I don't want to idly remain in the back as everyone else gets ahead of me. If you believe I am the right person to lead the team, I will do it. Leadership falls to those that have the gift after all. As you wish. I'll notify the chairman as well as the rest of the team later.
The senior nodded at the boy.
That's a rather tough self-evaluation you've put yourself through, Yuki. I had been getting worried you were overexerting yourself, in and outside of battle. It seems my concerns weren't completely unfounded. Hamuko says I tend to overthink things, but the only time I don't is when I'm busy.
Minato sighed.
I'll be sure to make a few adjustments to my schedule to give myself more time to recover from now on. I'll let you lead Seas, but only on one condition.
Mitsuru sternly looked at the younger boy.
You will no longer needlessly throw yourself into danger in battle. I've been analyzing our past battles and so far, you've been the one incurring the most injuries. While I admire your tenacity to protect the others, your actions may one day get yourself killed. I understand.
Minato nodded.
I'll keep that in mind. Good. As you know, the battles will only get more difficult from here on out.
Mitsuru reminded him.
Of course. Thank you for your time, Senpai.
Minato turned to leave.
One more thing before you go, Yuki.
The redhead crossed her arms and frowned at herself.
You blame yourself for last night's incidents, but I also bear some of the responsibility. I wasn't strong enough, which resulted in a difficult situation. I apologize for that. No need to apologize, Senpai.
Minato turned around, mildly surprised.
That's very kind of you. But, even if you forgive me, I don't think I can forgive myself. You must understand that. There's always next time.
The boy reassured her.
I'm glad you said that.
The girl smiled at him.
I promise to be stronger next time.
She fiddled with the radio next to her.
You're aware of the saying that a team is only as strong as its weakest link, are you not?
The boy nodded.
Well, I have a different take on the saying, and it is that a team is only as strong as its leader. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Of course.
Minato nodded.
How a team functions is a direct reflection of its leader. Therefore, any weakness in the team is the leader's responsibility to improve upon.
Satisfied by his response, Mitsuru gave him an approving nod.
So long as you understand our roles, you should be fine.
She turned back to the console and scanned the city.
I suppose I've kept you here long enough. Keep up the good work. I'll try.
The boy responded as he finally left the command room. He smiled to himself as he felt as though he's had this lecture before, a long time ago. Hiroshio-senpai is just as strict as Mom. He fondly recalled the memory of his mother scolding him.
I'm the oldest, so I have to be a good example,
he said absently as he stood at the top of the stairs.
But you don't have to be perfect.
Hamuko appeared beside him.
That's something Mom used to say to you, right? Yeah.
The boy nodded. He frowned at his younger sister.
What were you doing just now? Bathroom.
She pointed behind her, and Minato saw that she was carrying a bath towel.
You should consider a shower too,
she teased.
I showered this morning.
Minato frowned.
By the way, thanks for dumping me on my bed last night,
he sarcastically said as he rotated his sore shoulders. Hamuko looked at him worriedly.
But you're better, right? No more reapers?
Minato paused as he looked around.
Let's go to your room for this, Hamuko.
The girl nodded and let him in. Minato took a seat at her desk as the girl hung up her towel to dry.
What happened to you last night?
A pained expression washed over the boy's usually calm face.
When the train started moving, reapers appeared. There were too many for me to count since there were a lot of passengers aboard. As we went through the cars, 3 reapers persistently followed us and the fear took hold. We were going to die and I thought I wouldn't be able to stop that from happening. But you did.
Hamuko did her best to cheer her brother up.
We're alive because of you, Nissan. But it wasn't because I knew what I was doing,
Minato angrily stated.
I made sure to prepare myself. True. I predicted the worst situation and planned accordingly, but when the time came, I failed. We're only alive because I got lucky. You told Yukari that it was instinctive. There's no difference.
Minato scornfully sneered.
Laugh. Instinct. Call it whatever you want. I'm not like Mom and Dad, playing miracles during the cases. No, through you.
Hamuko gently placed a hand on her brother's back.
And you have your own set of instincts. You might see it as luck, but I know you better than anyone. You see things others can't. Death included.
She slightly shivered but continued to make her point.
It's a part of who you are. Your tendency to overthink can be annoying, but it's because of it you know things others can never just guess at with just luck alone. Your instincts have always been sharper than mine,
Minato pointed out.
I'm surprised you didn't take control of the situation. You were closer to the controls and I trusted you. Maybe that was what my instinct told me to do.
Minato said nothing at that. Hamuko soothingly rubbed his back and he relaxed his head in his arms.
Hey, Nissan? Can I ask something? You said only 3 reapers followed us. Can you not see the reaper on yourself? I guess not.
The boy shrugged.
Why?
He lifted his head and saw the pensive worry on the girl's face.
Sometimes I get nervous when we're in towers and you get hurt.
The girl's face dampened as she grabbed her brother's shirt as if trying to confirm he was right there in front of her.
I always think that you'll end up dying, but you've never once mentioned seeing the Reaper during those times. I've made you worry too.
Minato gently smiled as he removed her hand and held it between his.
It's okay, Hamuko. I won't be freely throwing my body into danger anymore. I made a deal with Kirijo-senpai. Really?
Hamuko brightened up.
Yeah.
The boy nodded.
I asked her to make me leader and she agreed so long as I stopped trying to go out of my way to get hurt. So you'll actually do it? I just said I would.
Minato frowned.
Maybe this'll get Junpei to stop giving you trouble.
Hamuko cheered as she hugged her brother.
Now I don't have to carry all the equipment with me. You made me do that anyway.
The boy sighed. The girl laughed as she shook him around. She finally stopped when his phone rang. Minato reached for it in his pocket and looked at the number.
It's Elizabeth.
He put it to his ear.
Hello? Hello? This is Elizabeth.
The elevator attendant's voice sounded pretty urgent.
I'm calling to inform you of a change in Tartarus. I believe a path that was blocked is now open. I thought you might like to know. I wish you a safe journey.
The call ended and Minato blinked at his phone.
It looks like we've got some new ground in Tartarus to cover. We'll give everyone a day to rest, but tomorrow we'll be checking it out. Got it.
Hamuko smirked at her brother.
Leader. Please don't make this difficult for me.
Minato sighed. 23 May 2009. Minato glanced up at the clock and saw that he had about half an hour left to finish his essay. He spun his pencil in his hand as he continued to write. So long as he completed this assignment, he would be able to finally get a good night's sleep.
Time.
Toriumi called from the front of the classroom.
House your essays up. Anyone who doesn't will be headed to faculty office to meet with the principal.
Minato confidently smirked as he passed his paper up. He turned back to Hamuko and saw her flash him a big smile. Beside him, Junpei groaned.
Dude. That prompt. I had nothing to write about. All you had to do was say yes or no and argue why you think so. What's so hard about a question asking about monorails and their usefulness to society? We were almost killed on one, man.
Junpei glared at him.
Yeah, but we made it.
Minato shrugged.
Did you know that the Shinkansen? Dude, I don't care. You've told me that before. Twice.
Junpei pulled his cap down as he buried his face into his arms.
You could have used that for your essay.
The blue-haired boy sighed.
How about we get some ramen? It'll be on me. Ooh, sounds good.
Hamuko said as she hugged her brother from behind.
Can your budget fit 4 orders of Hagagiri special? 4?
The boy didn't expect the red-eyed girl to be that hungry. Yukari walked up to his desk.
Yeah, I'll be coming along too.
Junpei cheered up at the thought of free food.
What a thoughtful leader, looking out for his team.
Hamuko pulled on the blue-haired boy's cheeks.
You're the best, Isan. Yeah.
The boy rolled his eyes. The afternoon turned out to be rather fun, and as the 4 came back to the dorm, they noticed a white-haired senior sitting at the table with a celebratory take-out dinner of his own. Akihiko looked up and smirked at the juniors.
Oh, you're back.
Yukari brightened as she saw Akihiko's arm was no longer in a sling.
Senpai, I hear you're fully healed.
Junpei smiled widely at the boxer.
Congrats. Man.
Akihiko's eyes glowed eagerly.
I need to catch up on my training. I slacked off for a whole month. Shouldn't you take it easy, there?
Yukari frowned.
You don't want to re-injure your arm. I've already wasted precious time.
Akihiko shook his head.
Besides, we found another Persona user.
Minato straightened at that. Another?
We did.
Junpei began shaking in excitement.
Sweet. Is it a girl?
The boxer nodded.
Actually, it is. She's a junior who goes to our school. Fukuyamagish. Do you guys know her? Yamagishi.
Minato whispered the name under his breath. For some reason, he liked the way it rolled off his tongue. Pretty name, he thought. A flower drifting on the breeze of a mountainous shore. I wonder if her name suits her. He inwardly frowned at himself. Well, she must be better than me, considering I'm supposed to be the harbor of courage.
Yamagish.
Yukari tried to remember who the girl was.
Oh, that girl in 2E. She gets sick a lot, from what I heard. I don't see her at school very often.
Minato crossed his arms. Echoed his class. Ah, this sounds rather problematic. He intently hoped they weren't referring to one of those girls he had to constantly deal with during student council.
She was at the same hospital as me.
Akihiko continued to explain.
That's how we found out about her. But maybe she's not cut out for battle. I had an evoker made for her, too. What a...
Junpei couldn't believe his ears.
We're giving up on her already? I was gonna offer her some private lessons.
He smirked towards Minato to see if the blue-haired boy would agree. Minato and Yukari stared at him in silence while Hamuko shook her head.
You're like an old perv.
Yukari laughed at that.
Oh man, I'm always thinking the same thing. Yeah.
Junpei backed up.
We check those claws, ladies. I'm totally a hit. Happened in teen. You dig?
He nudged Minato to back him up. The other boy only groaned.
Whatever.
Yukari shook her head at the cat boy.
Loser.
Junpei turned back to her.
Why are you looking at me like that? Come on. I'm a guy. What'd I expect? Minato's a guy too, but you don't see him being a total pervert.
Hamuko mischievously smiled.
That's because Nissan is into. Don't even joke about that.
Minato glared at her.
I don't need another rumor about me to start.
He looked to Yukari and Junpei.
And you too.
The two juniors snapped to attention when they noticed the boy's stern tone.
That's enough on this topic. If Yamagishi can't join, we'll leave it at that. We have our own business to attend to, and I don't want you guys losing focus.
The blue-haired boy smirked to the two after a while.
That said, I say we head to Tartarus tonight. Sanada-senpai seems eager to get back out there, and we all look like we could use a distressing for midterms. Awesome, dude.
Junpei started for the stairs.
I'd better get ready then.
Yukari shook her head but turned towards Hamuko.
Hey, let's go over some of the midterm questions. I want to know if I did okay.
When they left, Minato finally let out a sigh of relief. He looked over to Akihiko.
Senpai, can I look over Yamagishi's file later? Sure. I'll let Mitsuru know you want access to it.
The senior nodded.
So, you think we should recruit her? I can't say for sure until I go over everything myself, but I'd like it if we had more support. With you going back to the front lines, another member would bolster our numbers quite a bit. There's only so much Hamuko and I can cover with our personas after all. And if she really can't fight, what then?
Akihiko frowned.
Then it can't be helped.
Minato shrugged.
Still.
He crossed his arms and seriously frowned.
I'd rather we recruit someone not cut out for battle than to have them fend against the Dark Hour alone.
The junior's fist tightened as he recalled his own past in trying to survive the Dark Hour with just Hamuko.
Yeah.
The senior agreed, unaware of the younger boy's pain.
There is safety in numbers.
25 May 2009. Hamuko took a deep breath.
Okay, today's the day.
Minato let out a sigh as he nodded to Yukari, who was waiting for them at the school gate.
Morning. Morning.
She greeted him back.
You're as punctual as always, Minato. It's because I'm always there to drag him to school.
Hamuko stuck her tongue out at her brother. Yukari lightly laughed at that.
That's true. Have you seen Junpei today? He looks like the world is about to end. Really?
Hamuko became worried.
Yeah, really.
Yukari frowned.
What happened?
Minato tilted his head to the side.
Well, exam scores will be posted today, so... Right, we were just talking about that.
Hamuko was practically bouncing beside them as they changed their shoes.
I hope I did well. Show some consideration for those poor saps that didn't, will you?
Minato grabbed her by her school bag.
We're still referring to Junpei, right?
Yukari asked.
He said he's gonna beg for a higher score. Like that's gonna work. Oh, by the way, you remember how Akihiko-senpai was talking about that girl Fuke?
The twins nodded.
I hear she's kinda weak. But that's just a rumor. I wonder what she's really like. Either way, having another Persona user can't be a bad thing. Interesting rumor.
Minato mused as he carefully went up the stairs.
Not really. At least, not compared to the ones you get.
Hamuko snickered. She paused as she seriously considered the rumor regarding Fuki Yamagishi.
But I see what you're getting at. It's a rather plain rumor. Too plain. which is why it's so interesting.
Her brother nodded.
There's something going on that we're not seeing.
Hikari shook her head at the boy's odd sense of logic.
Well, you tend to be right about these sorts of things. Are you going to solve this little mystery?
Minato made a face.
I kinda have to as leader, don't I? Any plans of attack?
Hamuko asked curiously.
I'll come up with something by tomorrow.
The blue-eyed boy replied as he saw a familiar face enter the classroom next to theirs. Or maybe by the end of morning classes. Class was dismissed for lunch and Minato purposefully meandered about as his entire class rushed towards the faculty office to check out the exam results. Hamuko tugged at his arm eagerly.
Hurry up! There's going to be a crowd. I have something I want to check out first,
he said as she pulled him out of their classroom. He shifted his head towards the sign reading Tui.
Go on without me.
Hamuko's eyes went wide.
So you came up with something after all. Okay, I've got it.
Luckily, Ekota's class was a bit slow in being dismissed. This gave Minato the chance to properly set himself up in a good position to preempt who he wanted to speak with. He leaned back against the wall and lazily watched as the students from Tui filed out. He finally stood up when he saw the familiar shy girl with teal-green hair entering the hall. She was roughly pushed aside by a few girls behind her though, and as they began to swarm her, Minato frowned that he was quickly losing his chance to speak with her.
Let's go check out the results.
One brunette seemed to be teasing the quiet girl as she forcefully tugged the girl's arm.
I bet you did. Right.
Minato swore he detected sarcasm of the venomous variety. The girl tensed up as she replied, flustered.
Oh. Okay. Hey.
Minato spoke up to get their attention and some of the girls turned to him. A few of the girls recognized him immediately and shirked away from him, using the teal-haired girl as a bit of a shield. Minato noticed how they all exchanged worried glances with one another, but he said nothing else as he started walking towards them. While the others cautiously backed away with each step he took, the shy girl's face slightly lit up at the sight of him.
Yuki-san. Why, you're from the student council. Tere Toshikin's hellhound.
One of the girls said as her knees began to shake.
Did you want something from us? I just need to speak with her.
Minato nodded towards the brown-eyed girl. The group seemed to be even more nervous as they looked to each other. Finally, they reached a consensus before leaving the intimidating blue-eyed boy with their shy classmate. Minato let out a sigh as this was actually more troubling than he had thought it would be.
Sorry for taking you away from your friends, but I needed to speak with you about something private. It wasn't a problem.
The girl reassured him with a relieved smile on her face.
And they're not.
She looked at the group before shaking her head.
And never mind.
She looked to the ground as the boy calmly watched her.
What was it that you wanted to speak to me about? Here, let's walk towards the faculty office while we talk. This might take a while, and I'm sure you're curious about the exam results.
Minato tried to distract her as he wondered how he was going to go about this. After a few seconds of silence, he took a deep breath.
There are some rumors going around, and I wanted to clear something up.
The boy began before lightly coughing into his hand.
It's for the student council, of course.
Minato mentally frowned as he awkwardly looked away.
Is there a Fuki Yamagishi in your class by any chance?
The girl tensed up.
Why, yes. Why? What is this about? It's rather confidential and I can't really say, but it's important that I speak with her. I heard she doesn't come to school often due to illness, so I was wondering, do you know how I could get in contact with her?
Minato looked back to the girl before noticing she had gone pale.
Ichie.
He nervously began.
Are you feeling well? You're not sick, are you? I can take you to the infirmary if you like. And no, I'll be fine.
The girl tried her best to regain her composure, but Minato frowned when she began shaking.
About the person you're looking for.
She seemed hesitant to be speaking with him.
It's all right. Just take a deep breath.
Minato tried his best to make her feel at ease.
You won't get into trouble for telling me about your friend. Neither of you did anything wrong. I just really need to speak to her about something important. I am sorry.
The girl looked down.
I don't know anything.
A bit disappointed, Minato frowned to himself, but he quickly masked it with a smile for the girl.
It's no big deal. If you learn anything about her, just let me know. It doesn't even have to be an official meeting if you want to keep this confidential. You can find me in class 2F. If I'm not available, you can also look for Hamuko Arisato, okay? You can trust her to get a message to me.
The boy wryly chuckled to himself as they approached the crowd of students causing traffic in the hall.
Sorry for taking up your time. And not at all. I'm sorry I couldn't be of more help.
The girl tried to give him a smile, but Minato paused when he saw faint traces of a reaper beginning to attach itself to her. The blue-haired boy was about to say something else, but a familiar voice caught his attention.
Hey! He's finally here.
Minato looked up to see Junpei smirking and pointing at him. The girl used this chance to quickly slip away as Minato frowned, wondering what the cat boy was up to. Hamuko wrestled her way out of the crowd, and her eyes gleamed in a way that sent a chill down the blue-haired boy's spine.
Oh no! Minato!
The girl charged towards him and tightly hugged her brother.
We got the highest exam results. I'm so proud. It's a miracle. Hamuko,
he hissed.
I'm still working here.
He turned back towards the teal-haired girl, but frowned when she was no longer standing beside him.
Where'd she go?
He tried to call out for the girl, but groaned when he realized he once again messed up.
I still didn't even get her name.
His expression darkened.
Damn, this isn't good.
Noticing how serious her brother was, she let him go.
Did something happen? Did you learn anything? No, but I saw.
He shook his head.
This isn't something we should be discussing at school. I'm going back to look for Kirijo-senpai. I made a blunder in my investigation on Yamagishi.
The boy quickly retreated, every now and then turning his head, as if searching for someone.
Minato!
Hamuko called out for him, but frowned.
What did you do?
She decided to go into the girls' restroom to wash her face and clear her head. If she wanted to help her brother, she'd need to focus, and this was the best way for her to do just that. She took a paper towel and carefully dried her face and hands when something in the mirror caught her eye. She gently smiled as she turned around.
You don't have to hide in the bathroom stall. I won't bite. Sorry. I thought you were someone else.
A girl with teal hair stepped out.
Trying to avoid someone?
Hamuko curiously tilted her head at the girl.
Have we met before?
She tried to recall when she encountered such a cute girl before she jumped in realization.
You were the one to help Minato into the infirmary. I still haven't properly thanked you for that. If something had happened to him... never mind.
Hamuko decided now wasn't the time for that and shook her head.
I'm Hamuko Arisato, by the way, from class 2F. You don't have to introduce yourself since you're hiding in here, but if you ever need someone to talk to, you can always come to me.
The red-eyed girl smiled brightly.
Or you can leave a message with Minato. He's in the same class too.
The girl nodded.
Oh, thanks. Now if you'll excuse me, I need to find Minato. Don't worry though. I won't tell anyone you're in here.
The energetic junior winked at her before leaving. Upstairs, Minato bowed his head at his mistake.
I had intended to befriend Yamagishi, but my only way of naturally introducing myself to class 2E failed. You don't have to be so disappointed, Yuki. You've seen her file, and it's clear that she wouldn't be able to fight with us. In fact, given her own files, I still wonder why I let you remain on the front lines. We're not here to discuss my health history.
Minato shook his head.
No, but I don't see why you're actively trying to recruit someone who we're not certain if she can fight for us. Even if she can't fight, that doesn't mean she can't support us. She should be able to do something. And we can't leave her alone during the dark hour. It's not safe.
The boy clenched his fists as he angrily argued back.
I know what the dark hour is capable of.
Mitsu's red eyes flashed in irritation.
Why are you so adamant about this? Do you know something I don't?
Minato looked down to the ground.
People who don't belong in the dark hour die. That's something I've seen for years. Years.
This new information made the senior re-evaluate the boy trembling before her. The boy didn't elaborate as he refocused the direction of their conversation.
Death will come to Yamagishi and those around her if she doesn't awaken to a persona. It's happened before.
He thought of the Reaper he saw forming just earlier. Minato swallowed the lump of guilt building in his throat as he felt he may have inadvertently introduced a harbinger of death to his nameless friend.
If we don't do something, it will happen again. I'll keep that in mind.
Mitsuru sighed.
That's all I ask.
The boy forced himself to relax.
Forgive me if I spoke out of turn, but I'm only doing what I think is necessary. Yes, I understand.
The boy left the student council room and Mitsuru let out a heavy sigh. Just what exactly did he go through because of my family? To live through the dark hour for years. Is this why he's so comfortable during that time? The senior shook her head as it was time for her to return to her classroom. This would have to wait for another time. Toriyami frowned as her eyes were getting tired from grading papers. Essays took a while, but with the results being posted the next day, there was no time for a break. Or was there? She glanced at her computer screen and noticed Tetsuya was on. Smiling, she began chatting with her mysterious online friend.
Law. Kinda busy today. Have 2 grad papers. Work sucks. That does suck. I just finished midterms myself.
The other avatar answered back. Toriyami smiled at the Tatsuya's proper diction. Although she was a composition teacher, she didn't have to be proper all the time. Boss, this game was the only method she had to relieve stress.
Yeah, my kids had them too. So much to do. Want some help? I'm good. Sheetwalk finish these. See you later. I'll rant to you some other time. Alright. Good luck with work. I have to go too. Need to make dinner for my sister. I'd share it with you if I could.
Toriyami logged off and smiled at how thoughtful Tetsuya was. Always thinking of others and cooking for his younger sister. He even worked late into the night to help save people, despite being a student. He didn't elaborate on what his job was, but Toriyami assumed it was at some hospital. She could only wonder what type of perfect, kind-hearted person he was in real life. Meanwhile, in a dormitory located in Iwatodai, Minato quickly shut his laptop off as Hamuko tried to peer over his shoulder to look at his chat log.
Come on. I want to look. I want to see what your online girlfriend is like. And I told you no. I said I'd make you dinner, but only if you stopped pestering me. But, Nii-san, keep this up and you can forget about dessert.
End of chapter.